I was 14 and a half.
From 7 to about 11. There was one bunch. The other bunch was about from like 13 maybe to 16.
I went to spend the night with a girlfriend, and that's why it's important for your parents to know who your friends are. Not like they didn't know, but I guess she thought it was okay, which it was because she and I grew up together. But I went to spend the night with her because they were giving her mother a birthday party. And after the birthday party, me and her went in her room and we went to sleep. Her brother was home from the service, and I guess her parents were kind of tipsy because they had been drinking because of the party. Her brother was also. He was 19 at the time. And his sister got up to go to the bathroom, and when she got up to go to the bathroom, he came into the room.
I was in foster care. I've been living with my mother now, well, my foster mother now for all my life, for about 19 years. She came and got me to the hospital when I was 2 weeks old. We had a lot of children in our house. One particular was an older male. He was like, I think he was like a teenager, and I was like around 7 or whatever. We grew up in the house together.
Grabbed me around my neck and threw me down on the bed and put his hand over my mouth and told me not to make a sound. I was crying. I told him to get off me, but in fear of getting hit, I just told him to do what he had to do and get up. His sister was outside banging on the door because he locked her room from the inside. When it was done, he left out the room. She smacked him in the face, and they were fighting in the hallway. And I just went in the bathroom and started crying.
Yeah, so he would just come in our room late at night, wake me up, bring me down the stairs, take me in the kitchen, make me explore certain things with him.
About 4 months after that, I didn't even realize I was pregnant. That's how much I had blocked it out. And I was sick. I kept being sick in the morning. I was still going to school. But I guess my mom saw the change in my appearance. And one morning she got up and I thought I was going to school, and she said, "No, we're going to the doctor." And I was like, "For what?" She said, "You need to go get an examination." And when I went to the doctor, they told her I was 16 and a half weeks pregnant.
He became like abusive, like physically abusive. He used to wash my face and scrub the skin off my face.
That I wanted to kill him. That I felt like he had just taken advantage of my innocence.
One of the most important things that a victim can do is talk about what happened, to let people know and to reach out and get help. And a lot of times the path to healing isn't just keeping it to themselves, but actually saying, "This happened to me," and making sure that people take steps with them for them to heal.
These are my parents. He was still living, so I didn't tell him. She told him that night, and he immediately got locked up that same night. But I was all asleep. I didn't know what happened. So I woke up in the morning. Mom was like, "Oh, we have to go to the police station." We went to the police station, was questioned for hours and hours a day, and I was still I was 10 at the time. Then we went to trial for a whole year, and he was not guilty.
My purpose for not telling my parents or my brother, I'm the only girl, first of all. I have brothers, and they would have killed them. I know they would have killed them.
Beginning, the first time I told my sister, because I don't know what made me tell my sister, but I told my older sister, not the one I was sleeping in the room with, but the older one who had already moved out the house and started her own life. I was talking to her, and I was telling her, I don't know what made me tell her. I was telling her that she was like, "Well, Shania, we gotta go to mommy and daddy." And I was like, "I'm not gonna go to mommy and daddy. I'm not gonna tell her."
He came back home, and she was born in June. He came back from the service around August, and I had her with me, and I was still in my girlfriend's house. And he looked at her and he asked me what she is, and I literally almost spit in his face. I was like, "No, just get away from me." So I never said anything. I
was scared. I was nervous. I was 10 years old and child being just questioned all day long.
And I didn't think that anything had happened. You know, I kind of blocked it out, and I just didn't say anything to anybody.
Then the second incident when I became 10, so I was 13, was with one of my mom's cousins. My mom let this guy move in the house with us. Well, one of her nephews, I think it is. One of her nephews moved in the house with us, and he's about 30, 40 maybe.
So everybody has their own journey when they experience rape. What we do know is for many people, it's very much something that is traumatic and very difficult for them to move on from. There's also been, in rare occasions, women or men who have been raped that don't register it or don't quite deal with it. So the impact can be very different for each person, but it's a very personal experience, and it's something that each person does have their own level of impact.
They go through different stages sometimes. Sometimes they go through denial. They want to pretend like it didn't happen. They say, well, maybe the person misinterpreted what I said. Maybe they didn't mean to do it. Maybe I didn't, say no strong enough. Another thing that they go through, kind of goes along with denial, is disassociate themselves from the act. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to let anyone know. It just didn't happen. They want to just disassociate themselves. Another thing that I see victims go through is blaming themselves. I should not have been there at that time. I should not have went with him to his room, things like that. I think that happens a lot too in college. You're hanging out, you're partying, you go back to a guy's room, it has happened, and things happen progressively, and the girl might try to say no, and the gentleman doesn't want to listen.
That it's normal to not want to admit it, that it's healthy, and to hopefully help them see that other people have had that journey where they've come open and they've been able to heal. So the biggest advice to somebody is understanding they're not alone, that it's not their fault, and that there are people out there waiting to help them heal.